Hey guys!
No more goofing off. No more going to Alaska.
This is why you don't have a radiologist wrap an ankle.
Sicker patients, greater care, Papa John's.
Did I pass or fail step 3? I'll actually show it to you guys. Welcome back, vlog. We're so back to our regularly scheduled content. I'll tell you guys what rotation I'm on in a little bit, but for now, I need to head to the hospital because I'm running a little bit late. Good morning, Chewy. Say hello to the vlog chip. Alright guys, I am at the hospital. Today I start my cardiology block. If you guys have been watching my vlogs throughout residency, then you know I've already done a block of cardiology, so this is already pretty familiar to me, which is really nice. I'll talk more about the schedule later, but for now, I need to head inside. Content, baby. All right, guys, I am done for the day. It's actually only about noon. So again, I'm on an inpatient cardiology rotation, and this is essentially a consult service. So the way our days work is I'm scheduled to show up at 8 a.m. every day, and we start off the days by just running through some studies for some of our patients, whether we're looking at echocardiograms, EKGs, whatever other cardiac workup has been ordered for the patients. We then go and round on all the patients on our list that cardiology has been consulted on here in the hospital. And that's like normal rounds. You talk to the patients. If they're new, talk about why they came to the hospital. If they're existing patients, talk about any updates with their plan. And then after we're done rounding, we will do any procedures that we have scheduled. For example, we might do some TEEs or transesophageal echoes, where you essentially go in through the esophagus to look at the heart through like an ultrasound and, you know, look for any, I don't know, clots, vegetations, anything like that. So after we're done going through records, notes, rounding on our patients and doing any procedures, then the rest of the day is spent taking call for cardiology. So if any of the other doctors in the hospital want a cardiology consultation on their patients, they consult our service, and then we go see the patients and give the primary team our recommendations. Now, luckily, there is another resident with me, and her and I are switching off call every other week. So she's taking call this week, and then next week I'll take call, and then the week after she'll take call, and then the last week of the block I'll take call. So I'm not on call this week, which means after we're done with procedures for the day, I can go home, which is incredible. So like I said, it's noon and I'm done, which is amazing. So this will be a good rotation for just kind of getting back into the groove of being in the hospital, getting to prioritize other aspects of my life when I'm not taking call. And yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy it while I can. All right, I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my day.
Raheem has made some ribs.
I have. Oh, look at that color.
Still celebrating Christmas.
All right, guys, we are driving to the gym. No more goofing off. No more going to Alaska. I haven't been hitting the gym for a while. You know, I was on ICU. I was studying for my boards. I was training for half marathons and now my full marathons. I've been running outside a lot, but haven't lifted consistently in a minute. So we're gonna go back to hybrid training for a little bit, start hitting the gym consistently again. It's day one. No more goofing off. Staying in shape this year. That's the goal. I can be with you tonight. Sad boy gym music. This is how you get pumped. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Let's go to work. Good morning. Good morning, Bubba's.
Your content again?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, guys, I am done for the day. Pretty chill, super status quo. We rounded, We had 2 patients that had to go to the cath lab. One of them was a right heart catheterization, so you go in through the femoral vein because the vein leads back to the right side of the heart. And then the other one was a left heart catheterization, so you go in through the femoral artery because the artery leads to the left side of the heart. Pretty chill day overall, not too bad. And like I said yesterday, my co-resident is taking calls, so I'm done for the day. But now it is time for the moment that a lot of you guys have been waiting for and asking about, and that is, did I pass or fail step 3, and what score did I get? And the answer is yes, I passed step 3. I actually got the email last week with my score report, and I'll actually show it to you guys. There it is. We got the pass, and I scored a 224, which isn't bad. You can kind of see the average, the passing score for step 3 is a 200. The score I got was a 224, which is kind of in the middle of the average. I think the average is closer to 230, but your boy got a 224. I am very okay with that. There are 4 really good things about passing step 3. Number 1, I get my reimbursement for the money that I paid for the exam, so that's gonna be really nice. Number 2, I don't have to worry about being embarrassed for, failing it. I was kind of worried that what if I fail it, then my advanced program for anesthesiology is gonna be what the heck, why did we match this guy? Number 3, I don't have to take it again. I can focus on my anesthesiology training because this was my last United States medical licensure exam. So that's a really good feeling. I've passed all my medical boards. And the 4th reason why I'm really happy that I passed step 3 is because I can confidently tell you guys about the sponsor of this week's vlog, Board Vitals. Board Vitals offers thousands of high-quality practice questions with detailed explanations, all curated by experts. Like I told you guys last month, I used them to study for step 3, and I am kicking myself for not knowing about them for step 1 and step 2. In fact, my favorite feature is that you can stratify the questions by easy, moderate, and hard, so you can really titrate your learning rather than just mixing the difficulty. You can start off with superficial questions that kind of get you your foundations and then work your way up to the more difficult questions. This is especially useful if you're just starting your studying and want something a little bit more regimented and titrated. I think solidifying your foundations and building upon it is more conducive for learning, so it's just such a great feature. You can also customize your question bank with testing mode, adaptive mode, tutor mode, or study mode. That really just allows you to study in the way that works best for you. And the feedback to your responses and the explanations for their questions are just so well detailed. And their practice exams actually look exactly like the test, so you're really studying in the same user interface as what you're going to be doing on test day. And Board Vitals isn't just for step 1, 2, and 3. They also have practice questions for, any sort of board exams we're going to take, whether it's for anesthesiology, radiology, or if you're in another field like nursing, pharmacy, podiatry. They have question banks and practice tests for you guys as well. Pretty much every single area of healthcare. I wish I found them sooner, but I'm so glad I was able to use them for step 3. And honestly, I think they played a big part in me passing. I'll have the link to Board Vitals in the description box below, so make sure to check them out. And thank you so much to Board Vitals for sponsoring this week's vlog and for helping me pass step 3. As you guys know, I had a rough few weeks leading up to step 3. I was on a very busy ICU rotation, so I had a hard time getting a lot of good quality study time in. I pretty much didn't get to take any practice exams in one sitting. I did some practice exams, but they were broken up into blocks as if I was basically just doing practice questions. I never actually sat down and did a full-on practice exam. So I was pretty nervous going in, and I was also pretty burnt out by the time I took step 3, just from working so many hours and trying to study for it, getting through question banks, and I was burnt out. By the time my test day came, I was just ready to get it over with. During the exam, I did not feel super great. There were a lot of questions I knew I was missing. There were a lot of things I didn't know, but I had to keep telling myself, you know what, this is exactly how you felt on step 1, step 2. You did okay on those. And so I kind of had to just trust the fact that I felt exactly how I felt on previous ones that I've passed on. And no one feels like they did amazing on these board exams. Everyone walks out feeling what the heck was that? There was so much content on there that I wasn't prepared for. The wording of the questions, even if you know your stuff, the wording of the questions is half the battle. Just knowing what they want from you. This was also a 2-day exam, so stamina really sucked. I was so exhausted. The cases actually, I think, went pretty okay for me on the second day. There was a few of them where they didn't go as smoothly, but for the most part, I felt okay about them. So yeah, like I said, 224, and we can kind of scroll over here. These are like the different content areas, and as you can see, I pretty much scored like right in the middle of all of them, which means I didn't do particularly better or worse on any sections or any content areas. I pretty much scored like consistently across the board. There was like no like strengths or like weaknesses, if that makes sense. So again, for my position, working long hours, trying to get studying in, I'm very happy with the score. I'm very, very happy with it. So yeah, guys, that's it. I'm done with step 3. I passed it. There's an overall bigger message that I want to talk about in regards to step 3 and, taking your boards, but also, balancing the rest of your life as a resident. And I think we'll talk about that later in the week, later in this vlog, because I've already done a bunch of yapping just now and I kind of want to head home and relax for a bit. So stay tuned for later in the vlog. I think there's a really good conversation that I think is worth having, especially now that I'm past the step 3 point. So with that being said, I'm gonna head home, get some chores done, relax a little bit. So I'll catch you guys later. All right, we are back with Steph.
Hey guys!
Steph and I did our first half marathon together, and now we're doing another one next month. And then I'm trying to convince her to sign up for the full marathon.
I don't know.
We'll see. But the goal for today is 3 miles.
Easy peasy. We got it.
Easy.
Do it.
Nice. Easy.
We did it.
Good morning, guys. Happy Wednesday. All right, guys, I am done for the day. It's about 1 o'clock now. It was actually a pretty busy morning. We had several patients come into the emergency room due to heart attacks. And in those situations, if you see a heart attack on the EKG, you have to basically get them straight to the cath lab as soon as possible, because time is life, essentially. You want to go in and find the blockage and try to open up the vessels that supply the blood to the heart. And the faster you do that, the more you can prevent tissue ischemia or damage to the heart. So we got hit with a couple of those first thing this morning, so it was pretty busy. We ended up having to round on our patient list pretty late, but now done for the day. I'm not on call, so I can go home.
All righty, welcome to the podcast today, Sean. Happy to have you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I started college with really no idea of what I wanted to do. All right, guys, so it's later in the day now, and I am here with the physician pharmacist. We just got done doing an episode for his podcast, which is called the Physician Pharmacist Podcast. So I don't know, when's the episode going to go out?
Probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So it should be out soon.
Awesome. So make sure to check that out. We just got done chatting for about an hour or so. So I'll put the link in the description and stuff once that podcast goes up.
Thanks a lot, Sean, for being on the podcast today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. Almost done.
We did it.
And then the view of the strip over there. I don't know if you can even appreciate it. Strong work.
We did it, Sean. Good job.
Good morning, guys. Happy Thursday. All right, guys, I'm at the hospital. Like I said, it is Thursday today, which means that we have didactics this afternoon. I am at the hospital a little bit earlier than normal, about 20 minutes early, mainly because my co-resident and I want to grab some pancakes before we have to meet with our attending for rounds. This is one of my co-residents that I was in the ICU with, and one of our daily traditions was getting pancakes in the morning. And for old time's sake, we decided to show up a little bit early today to grab some pancakes. Yeah.
This is why you don't have a radiologist wrap an ankle. Because they do whatever the heck this is. This.
Girl, it's so bad. Wait, okay, yeah, because it's so thin.
And then I can like come down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
How's the ICU?
It was good.
Yeah? You loving it?
Sicker patients.
Yeah.
Greater care. Papa John's.
What was even that?
Nice.
So my brother told me that he was putting some new decorations up in his bathroom, and this is what I come home to. Those are pictures of my dogs pooping. Why is he like this? Happy Friday, guys. We made it through to the end of the week. Honestly, not a bad week at all. It's been pretty enjoyable. I actually really like being on the cardiology service. Also my last day not being on call before I start my call week next Monday. All right, let's have a good day. All right, we are done with this Friday, and that means I'm also done for the week because I'm not on call and it's the weekend. Pretty chill morning, honestly. We had a heart catheterization to start off the day. Then we did a transesophageal echocardiogram, so basically going into the esophagus with a camera or like a kind of like an ultrasound to look at the heart from behind. And then we did what's called a cardioversion for that same patient. So basically they have atrial fibrillation. The upper chambers of their heart are not beating in coordination with the lower chambers of the heart. And you try to fix that with medications, but sometimes that doesn't work. And so what we have to do is something called a cardioversion, where you essentially deliver a shock to kind of reset the heart rhythm, kind of similar to like if you're doing CPR and you have to shock the heart, kind of the exact same concept. You try to reset the rhythms. That way the upper chambers and the lower chambers of the heart are back to working in coordination with each other. Fun stuff, man. I actually do really like cardiology. It's actually interesting. The heart is obviously a very important, but very fun and interesting organ. Anyway, I'm gonna start off my weekend right by going and meeting with a friend to catch up over lunch.
Got spicy chicken, salad, also spicy chicken, and Victor. Bye.
Cheers. All right, guys, so it's Friday afternoon. I've kind of just been running around since work. I got lunch with a friend, grabbed some coffee. Pretty nice, relaxing day overall. As always, it's time for the end of the vlog rant. And something I really want to talk about in this vlog in particular is the importance of work-life balance in residency. And that's something I've talked a lot about in my vlogs just in general. As you guys know, I'm a very big advocate for good work-life balance. And I think this vlog is perfect to continue my conversation about work-life balance because, as you guys saw, I passed my step 3 exam, right? Which is huge. That's a really big deal. I am officially done with all the steps, the USMLE exams, and that's like one of the big kind of things you need to get done in your first year of residency, right? And you know, I had to work pretty hard to be able to pass this exam. I've already said this a million times, but you guys know I was on ICU the month before I took this exam. And then a week after that rotation ended, I took the exam, managed to pass, as you guys saw. That was hard. That was really sucky to be working long hours, you know, 6 days a week in the ICU, having to come home, study, and then having to, you know, also use my days off to study for the exam. Those parts sucked. I did not enjoy the 5 weeks leading up to the exam. And it's not like I started my studying, you know, in those 5 weeks. I've been, you know, kind of picking up practice questions ever since I would say like my 2nd or 3rd month of residency, and then all the way up to the exam. And obviously as a resident, the work that we're doing, that's part of the studying. The patients that we're seeing, the pathologies we're seeing, that's all contributing to our ability to pass this exam. So I've been preparing for this since I started my intern year. However, that's not all I've been doing throughout my intern year. I've had a really, really awesome, fun year so far, right? Like in general, I've really enjoyed my time. I've gotten to make a ton of new friends. I've gotten to work with really awesome, you know, wise attendings that are essentially mentors. I've gotten to see some really interesting patients, meet a lot of patients, their families. You know, those are part of the experience, right? Whether it's good or bad, every single interaction we have is contributing to your experience of residency. And for me, you know, between my coworkers, my attendings, and my patients, it's been a generally positive experience. Sure, I've had a bunch of months where my hours were long, right? Like I've done the surgery rotation, I've done a month in the ICU, I've done 2 months on medicine. I've had some tough months, very long hours. You guys have seen it. It's all, you know, on my YouTube channel. Like that's, you know, that's there. You guys have been with me through it. Those were hard months, but like, again, besides that, like it's been fun. Like I've worked a lot. I've spent a lot of hours in the hospital, but I've also done a lot of other stuff. Like I've gone to San Diego, I've taken a trip to Seattle, I went to Disneyland, I went to Alaska a couple weeks ago, right? I've also accomplished other goals. I trained for and I raced in my first ever Spartan trifecta. I trained for and I raced in my first ever half marathon, and now have signed up for my first full marathon. I've posted on this YouTube channel every single week since I started residency, and we've grown this channel to nearly 60,000 subscribers. I've spent a lot of time as well with my friends and my family, you know, whether it's going out and having a fun time, you know, downtown, going to, you know, hockey games, dinners, or just, you know, having a chill night in, doing like poker nights, or, you know, playing video games. I've gotten to do all of this stuff while also working hard as a resident, trying to be the best, you know, doctor for my patients, passing my board exams. I've been able to do it. Yes, of course, it's been hard at many moments, and you guys have seen it in my vlogs, but I knew those moments were temporary, and I knew those moments were worth it, and I knew that those moments were going to make me a better physician in the long term. And as long as I could push through it, there were more fun times to come, because there has to be. You have to, you know, prioritize doing fun stuff, traveling, spending time with friends, making new memories. Like, you have to prioritize that stuff just as much as you prioritize work. And when you're at work, you give 110% to your patients, your co-residents, your attendings, you know, all your efforts towards being a good doctor. And when you're outside of work, you should give 110% to the other things that matter to you. And I feel like that's why I've had such a good intern year so far. That's why I've been able to successfully continue my hobbies like YouTube, acrobatics, tumbling. I train once a week still, every single week, no excuses. Now that I've like passed step 3, I think that like really speaks to how possible it is. And as long as you have the right mindset, as long as you have the right priorities, like, you can do it. You can balance it all. Again, I really want to emphasize that it's of course easier said than done. There's many times that I'm tired. There's many times that I wonder how I'm going to make it through the day, that, you know, I'm stressed out. I'm in a procedure that I'm not comfortable with. You know, I'm trying to do best for my patients. Like, it's hard. It's stressful. Residency is hard and stressful. But I can't stress enough that it has overall been a very enjoyable and enriching experience, and I'm very grateful to be in this position. Anyway, that was my rant. I know it probably sounded like a lot of like self-glazing, like, look at all this stuff I've accomplished while also working as a resident, but it's true. Like, we should be continuing to set goals and accomplishments for ourselves, even if you're busy with work. And I think that if you can do it as a resident, then, you know, you can find time to do it no matter what you're doing. You just have to have the right priorities, and you have to, like, you know, want it enough, right? Anyway, that is it for the vlog this week. I want to shout out Board Vitals again for sponsoring this vlog. Make sure to check them out. Thank you guys so much for joining me in another week in residency, and I will see you in the next one.